When you are planting a hedge, it is important to use plants grown from seed collected from Irish trees. If you're buying from a nursery, check that the plants are certified Irish provenance. This means that the seed from which the plants have been grown is from a tree of known Irish origin. Why is Irish provenance important? Well, research has shown that the closer the seed source is matched to the planting site, the more likely it is that a plant will grow successfully. So Irish provenance is important, but local provenance is even better. This is particularly the case if you have more extreme conditions, such as an upland or coastal site. The hedge on the right is from a non-Irish seed source and comes into leaf at least 2 weeks ahead of the Irish provenance hedge across the road. The life cycles of the wildlife associated with our hedgerows are synchronized to seasonal timings, and a difference of 2 weeks in the budburst of trees in the spring can be the difference between survival and failure for some species of insects. Most of the hedging plants available from nurseries are not of Irish provenance, so if you are buying plants, you need to choose your nursery carefully. But it is possible to collect your own seed and grow your own plants. By doing this, you can be sure that the plants are ideally suited to your site. You don't need much space, just a little patience, as it will take 4 years from collecting the seed to having your first plants ready to put in a hedge. But like winemaking, you will soon get into having a new batch ready every year. Collect whitethorn seed, known as haws, from healthy trees in older boundaries. In the autumn, when the fruits are mature, strip the berries from the tree. Welding gloves give good protection. It's okay to bring leaves and twigs as well. The haws should then be stored outside in a cold, damp, but not waterlogged area for 2 winters before they are ready to sow. Make sure you protect them from mice who will eat them if they get the chance. In this time, the red flesh rots off to leave a single seed. If you only want to produce a handful of plants, these can be grown individually in pots. In the spring, sow the seed in a seed tray. They will germinate quickly. Keep them weeded and don't let them dry out. After a year, they are running out of root space and it's time to pot them on. Mix up some potting compost and transfer them into bigger pots. Always work with plants during the dormant season, then grow them on for a year or 2 more before they are ready to put into your hedge. Don't leave plants in pots for too long, as they run the risk of becoming pot-bound. If you want to grow more than a handful of plants, it is best to grow them in a nursery bed.
One of the major considerations would be to avoid a north-facing or an east-facing site, because they are very cold and the morning sun can scorch frozen leaves on plants and kill them. Select a south-facing slope if possible, like this one here. It's on the south side of this hill and it's facing into the midday sun, nice and warm. Now, having selected a site like that, the soil type is important, and if possible select a light peaty soil like this one here. It's nice and loose and easy to work. It's also free of stones, because as the roots go down, if there's stones in your soil, you produce forked, crooked roots, which makes it more difficult for the farmer to plant.
Any nursery site must be protected from livestock and also rabbits and hares. In February or early March, when the ground is sufficiently dry, prepare a fine seed bed. The seeds tend to clump in storage, so on a dry day, spread out the seed on a sheet or a concrete surface to allow it to dry. A light raking will separate the clumps. Roll the seed bed to give a level surface on which to sow the seed. It is critical that the seed is sown before it starts to germinate, otherwise the delicate new growth can be damaged. Broadcast the seed and lightly cover. Every yard of this seed bed should yield about 100 plants. In a few weeks' time, the new seedlings will start to emerge. The seed and seedlings can be vulnerable to pigeons, pheasant and field mice. so you may have to put in place measures to protect them. Keep the seedlings weeded through the summer. At the end of the first growing season, the new quicks will be 6 to 9 inches high. Hand weeding is labour intensive, but the young seedlings are very susceptible to herbicides like Roundup. These plants were damaged by a minute amount of herbicide residue in a sprayer that had been washed out. If mildew becomes a problem, you may need to spray to control it. Get advice from a specialist on which spray will be most effective. The plants will need to grow on for another year in the nursery before they are ready to transplant. A good quick will have a dense, fibrous root system. It is through these that a plant takes on food and water. The large roots are for anchoring the plant and are less critical. Grade the plants when you lift them. The strongest ones can be used for infilling gaps. Weaker plants can be lined out and grown on for another year in the nursery. Plants that are too small to put directly into a hedge can be lined out about 3 inches apart to grow on for another year or two. This gives them more room than they had in the nursery and allows them to strengthen up. Use secateurs or a hatchet to root prune the plants. Cut back the tops by about half. Root pruning makes the job of lining out the transplants much quicker and encourages more fibrous roots to grow. You can also easily grow other hedgerow species such as blackthorn, spindle, hazel, holly, crab, cherry and guelder rose from seed. These add colour and variety to a hedge and improve its value for biodiversity. The basic principles are the same as for whitethorn. It is a very rewarding experience to grow your own hedging plants. Not only are you producing plants that are more likely to grow successfully, you are also playing your part in preserving the genetic heritage of Ireland's hedgerows.